Welcome back to this I-24 News Evening Edition. I'm Lucia Arish again, and this is the Daily Debate. Swiss scientists reported yesterday that levels of polonium-210 measured in former Palestinian Liberation Organization leader Yasser Arafat tissues were found, supporting a proposition that he died of poisoning in 2004. Joining me tonight is Melamed, Middle East intelligence analyst. Good evening. Thank you very much for coming back again.
My pleasure.
And Munir Zughayer, representative of Palestinian Prisoners Families Association. Thank you very much for coming again.
You're welcome. Good evening.
So, first of all, let's understand what is the Palestinian reaction, because today we tried to speak with a lot of Palestinian leaders, a lot of Palestinian officials. Nobody wanted to comment on the latest Swiss report that we got.
First of all, good evening for all the audience whom they seeing us now and hearing us. About what we heard from the news and what have been happening after searching what's going on with the martyr, Mr. Yasser Arafat, we found out and we heard that they came out with that this polonium they found it in his body, and also they found it around his body on the stones and the small dust which is around his body. And this polonium which they found it's 18 times stronger than the regular polonium, which is one gram out of this material could kill more than 20,000 people if they eat it or they smell it, and it comes out, it goes in the body from the nose or the mouth.
You're not answering my question, Mr. Zughayer. What is the officials' response to this report? Because, as we know, at that time, Yasser Arafat was in the Muqata'a. He was with his close friends, with his allies. So somebody from the inside, from his inside circle...
You didn't give me the time to finish.
Okay.
Because I'm going to come to that. Because this material, it's never be found unless it's in an atom chemical workers or let's say factories where they could make atom bombs. So from where they got it and who gave it to Mr. Yasser Arafat, this is a subject that we have to work hard on it, because sometimes if we found out...
Who put it in his food? Who gave it to him? Who physically gave it to him? What means that
one of the people around Arafat. One of the people around Arafat.
Okay.
But who is it? Who the man who make the food? The man who who make the security for Mr. Arafat? The man who wants Mr. Arafat to fall down and to sit instead? America, which is supporting not to see Mr. Arafat no more because he didn't sign in Camp David. So we have to find out who's behind that, who gave this material also to.
There is a lot of implications about who's behind it. We've heard a lot of rumors for the last few years. We heard about rumors about pointing Israel as the one to blame about that, pointing his closest allies like Tahlan and the people next to him. This raises up all over again the question, who killed Yasser Arafat if he was actually killed?
That is correct. I can promise you one thing for sure. You will hear a lot about these whole conspiracy theories tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and so forth. The truth is, it's not very important. The real important is to understand what's beyond this story. And this story stands for the inner turbulence within the Palestinians themselves. Because basically today we have the Palestinian Authority and the Hamas. Hamas today obviously rushed to call for an immediate open investigation because it's Hamas' interest to try and to embarrass the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority obviously will try to do whatever it's possible just to brush it.
Of course.
And in the end of the day, basically what we'll see is that time and again, like many other issues, that specific story is going to be used by the Palestinians again in the context of their inner political struggle.
Against themselves.
Against themselves, or including Israel when the time calls for that, if the circumstances allow that, and so forth and so forth. In the very common, unfortunately, mindset in the Arab world, the whole conspiracy of killing and assassinating and poisoning is very common, but that is not the real story. The real story is, if somebody wants really to understand, the story is to understand the context and the inner Palestinian context of that story. That is the real story.
It's not only the inner context, you know, it's a narrative. Arafat represented a narrative, a Palestinian narrative, a Palestinian story, which maybe today we heard his wife saying that he had a lot of enemies and a lot of people, it was very convenient for them that he won't be in the picture anymore, because the moment that Arafat will die, maybe the Palestinian narrative will die with him. Am I right or not?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so, because Mr. Yasser Arafat, he's a teacher for the world. You can understand and imagine a man who were leading the revolution of the Palestinian, and one day they give him the Nobel in the world, and the other day he were traveling from a country to other, and he have the red carpet on the floor and all the people saying hello to him. He left all of that and he didn't sign for America, and he rather stay in his house or in his home, and the Israeli soldier standing on beside of his room for 3 years or more, like if he is in jail. And also he rather to die as a martyr instead of signing, because they didn't give him the minimum of the rights of the Palestinian rights. The minimum they didn't give him, so he could sign. From this point, I guess that he didn't sign, it means that he's finished, and they don't want to see him on the map. So the people, they don't want to see him in the map.
Maybe,
they will try all the ways how to finish him. But there is one thing I want to tell you, that when he spoke about Hamas and the other side, in any people in the world, sometimes we agree on something and we be different on something. But most of the Palestinian people, and all of them, they agreed that we have to have a strong Armstrong, let's say, a big Armstrong, beside a big negotiation, a strong negotiation to get to our rights. Because if the Israeli will give the Palestinian the rights...
I cannot believe that you're saying that. I cannot believe that you're saying that. Do you really think that the Palestinians are that naive?
No.
Do you think that the Palestinians are that naive that they don't have any clashes between them?
They have clashes, but it doesn't come to the point...
And they actually agree that that they need one leadership?
Listen. Most of them, they decided to support the negotiation. Most of them, they hate to see blood falling down. And I am from here, asking all of the Israelis, whom they really don't want to see blood from both people. We are ready to put hand in hand, to talk, to find ways, what to do to both people, to stop this killing, to stop this war, because up till when we're going to stay with this war? Up till when?
Yeah, but we're not speaking about this right now. We're not speaking about this.
Houses falling on people.
We're not speaking about that. When we are speaking about the figure of Yasser Arafat, but just a second, I want to give Mr. Avi Melamed a word here. We've been talking about the narrative, the Yasser Arafat narrative, the Palestinian narrative, that in a way it started deteriorating with his death. It started disappearing because nobody kept the flame in the hearts of the Palestinians.
That is very accurate. I want to share with you a small story that illustrates that process that you're so accurately now describing. In 2007, Hamas took over the Gaza Strip in a violent coup, butchering Fatah, Arafat people. But more interesting than that even, you know, there is a building in Arafat, in Gaza Strip, that used to be Arafat residential in Gaza Strip. And that was captured and confiscated by Hamas. Amro Moussa, the head of the Arafat Foundation, was asking Hamas to give it back, to keep it for heritage and restoration as part of the narrative of the Palestinians. To the best of my knowledge, up until now, Hamas was not complying with that request. I would say that there are lots of cracks in the Palestinian narratives.
A lot of cracks in the Palestinian narratives, and it seems that, like you said, there is a double game that right now is being played between Hamas and between Fatah. And right now, they know that actually putting out the story actually puts Fatah in a very, very bad position. Like, look what you're seeing, guys. You're killing your own leader, when we at Hamas are not doing that.
That is correct. We also have to remember the wide context. Hamas is now under a lot of pressure, and he's trying to get credit wherever he can. For Hamas, that's a great opportunity to try to get some kind of popularity and to score some points within the Palestinian public opinion.
And to try to get from out of the isolation that they're in right now.
Yes, but I don't think that that will be the thing that basically rescue Hamas from its crisis. But it's very typical to this region, and mostly in the Arab world and also among the Palestinians, that many issues are being recruited, channeled into their own inner political struggle or narratives, regardless of the reality, regardless of the facts, regardless of the consequences and events that takes place in the environment. And I believe that the story of Arafat is one of these stories. You know, the time Arafat used to be alive, the head of the Palestinian intelligence services, Colonel Tawfiq Tirawi, he once said there was a breach in the most closer intimate circle around Arafat. He never ever elaborated on that, but someone could wonder what did he mean by that. Because, you know, there were some reports coming in saying already in 2005, 6, 7, a guy named Fahmi Shabani, he used to be an officer within the Palestinian services. He also implied that there was some kind of like a plot coming from within the Palestinian ranks themselves, aiming to kill Arafat. I can promise you will hear lots of stories, lots of narratives, lots of disinformation. But again, that is not the most
But the very important thing is this material, where they got it from?
Are you
Who gave it to them? Yeah?
Are you blaming Israel?
Yeah. Who have the atom bombs? Who have the atom materials? Who have all of these materials? Who can produce these materials?
But someone needed to.
Do you think it comes from Iran?
In a case that
Do you
Israel,
think it
I'm going
comes
with
from
you.
Iran or
I'm
from
coming with you.
America?
I'm coming with you on this idea that you have. If Israel actually was connected to Yasser Arafat's death, somebody from inside, from the Fatah, from the leadership in the Palestinian Authority, who's right now sitting as an official in the Palestinian Authority, did it. He actually gave it to him.
Yeah, and he's given a hand to
So
to give
there's
it
two people to blame, not only one, the Palestinians and the Israelis.
Okay, why we ask to have a searching, you know, a real searching, a real question right now, to have a committee, to start on working, to find out who give a hand for that? Because we blame both sides. We blame Israel, and also we blame part of the Palestinian whom they work for.
Last time that you were here, we were arguing about why don't the Palestinian try to criticize themselves before they're pointing through to Israel? Why aren't the Palestinians saying, okay, we got this report, we have this report, we know that one of ours actually killed his leader.
We're going to work on this
Why
report.
We're not doing an inner investigation about that before we're saying that Israel is the one to blame?
The Palestinian will work on this report, will work hard on this report to find out who have a hand in that, who helped in that. But there is something more important. Well, all of these things, why it's happened? Because of the occupation. And the whole world decided that we live under occupation.
This got nothing
and this
to
is
do
have
with
to
the
be,
occupation.
I tell you why. I tell you why.
This got nothing to do with the occupation. Let's put the occupation aside.
If Mr. Arafat signed in Camp David, none of this will be happened.
I don't think to do with the occupation. We're talking about the murdering of your own leader.
Okay, this leader, they don't want him on the map because he refused to sign because they didn't get the minimum of his right for his people, the right of the Palestinian people. And there is something else.
You know, about the occupation, I can say, okay, we agree on that. Israel is occupying the West Bank, okay. But about this...
He was so strong. He found out that the Israelis, in the negotiation, they negotiate him about Jerusalem, about the refugees. And this is a thing that must not be negotiated. They must negotiate how to give the part of Jerusalem who used to be under the Jordanian leadership to give it back to the Arabs, and how to give to let the refugees go back to their lands, not to ask them to come or to not to come back.
I have to stop you.
They will come
I have
back.
to stop you. One last word, because I have 1 minute. Is there going to be a real investigation in the Palestinian Authority?
No.
Okay, thank you both. We will wait and see. We will wait and see. Gentlemen, thank you very much for this. And thank you, our viewers. We're going for a small break, 10 minutes break, an update from our news desk, and then we're back for the one-on-one. Don't go anywhere. 10 minutes, and I'll be back.
This time...